Welcome to our first trailer build video. I know I've done a couple recipe videos so far as we compiled and kind of started putting together all of our work that we've been doing on the actual trailer for the Plantable Food trailer. So today's video is really just kind of the story of how this got started and the initial demo and what we've been doing so far to renovate the trailer. Well, I think it goes back to when we first started dating. Are we going back that far?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I was vegan and Cormac was vegetarian, and I secretly, not really that secretly, wanted him to be vegan. So I would cook a lot of food and started trying out recipes and just got really into cooking vegan food that tastes awesome and is really healthy and is whole food plant-based. And so kind of with that started finding the love for it, and I think we started talking about, you know, I think everybody is like, oh, it'd be fun to have a restaurant or it'd be fun to have like a little cafe or something, but we were really talking about that, but financially it's just not really feasible to buy a place and start one. But renovating a trailer, an inexpensive trailer, and having it be mobile and you control your hours just takes away that overhead. And so that's kind of, we started talking more and more seriously about it. Eventually, Cormac also went vegan after I cooked amazing food. Just kidding, I'm not gonna say that. All right. Okay. So for me, I think this whole journey and doing this food trailer is to, one, just follow a passion that I discovered that I had that I never knew that I had. And two, is just kind of do my part in sort of educating people about eating whole food plant-based, and that it can be extremely healthy but also satisfying and delicious food while we're conscious of the environmental impacts of our food choices and the impacts on animals and impacts on our health. And so all of those things kind of are driving like my passion for this project.
And I'm just here to support her passion and see where it goes. Yeah, and so we originally started looking at what it would look like with a food truck, a typical food truck that you see all over the place. And as we started to look into that, we saw that it would be pretty expensive in like the $30,000 to $40,000 mark, and then we would also have to have this big truck that we would then have to maintain. And both of us are trying to reduce our carbon footprint, and so we started to think of the idea of maybe having a trailer that one of our cars would tow behind it. And Mo has a Nissan Leaf, and so that kind of gave a benchmark of 2,000 pounds that I could tow. And so I started to look into trailers, and only older trailers were under the 2,000 pound mark. Started looking into the Scotty trailers and pretty much any of the old vintage trailers. And so the Scotty trailer came about because my uncle used to have a bunch of them. And so we found one in New York, and we figured we'd take a look at it. And so we spent one weekend driving down there just to take a look. I thought it was just a very like cute looking trailer, and I could see it being something that would be very like welcoming for somebody to walk up to, and it was something that was interesting to look at, not just a typical square box. It seemed small but doable, yeah. And there's a spot for me to stand up and there's a spot for Mo to stand up, and we could sort of envision a sort of layout.
Yeah, I know when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's so cute. That was my first impression. Of course, that's all I think of. It's like, oh, it's cute, let's get it. But yeah, I think, yeah, we were pretty excited, but we definitely need to go home and think about it before committing.
So once we got home, we sort of created a layout of the trailer with my dad, and we figured out that it should be able to work. So to get to New York from where we are in Lowell, it's about 260 miles away, so we had to do 1 or 2 charging stops along the way. Hi everyone, we are on our maiden voyage to pick up the Scotty trailer for the Cheery Chickpea project, and we are right now at a charging station charging Mo's Nissan Leaf, and we will see you when we are on our way back.
I think we stopped a third time to charge right before we got there, the one that was really close, so that we knew we had enough range to get back to that charger with the trailer.
So once we got there, it was pretty straightforward. So we sent over the title.
And then found out that we were taking the entire trailer and all of its contents with it, and that they didn't take anything out of it. So yeah, we were able to make it to that first charger.
Yeah, I think it was probably like 2 o'clock. Yeah, at that charger, I was starting to notice that the temperature of the battery did not lower that much while we were at the picking up the trailer, and so I was like, oh no, I have a feeling this is going to be a long trip home. As the battery's hotter, the car actually limits the charging speed. Instead of it being like 150 miles of range per hour, it's more like 50 miles of range, so it's about a third of what it should have been. We're expecting the charging stops to be about, half hour to 45 minutes, and they were ending up being like an hour and a half to 2 hours. It is 10:19 p.m. right now. We have one more stop to go, and both Mo and I are a bit tired, and we're probably not gonna get home until who knows. Time doesn't exist anymore. I
think we left that morning at like 7 and we didn't end up getting home till 2 a.m. Yeah, so we eventually made it home, and then it was time to demo and take everything out, which was pretty fun. Here we go. Taking out the bathroom. Starting to empty out all the stuff. Cormac's friend Luke came to help us. Thank you, Luke, for helping us with that.
Yeah, he was pretty excited.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there, though. There was a bathroom, there was a whole mattress and bed frame that they had put in.
Yeah, not like the cabinets and stuff. Mm-hmm. It was a nice little trailer for camping, mm-hmm. but it's not what we're gonna use it for.
Yeah.
Well, it's now ripping up the carpet.
I think I should just cut this section off.
You ready to put in new flooring, Mo?
I'm not even thinking about that yet.
This is all gonna go.
No, I can do this. So
as soon as we lifted the carpet out, we quickly realized that we were definitely going to have to do a decent amount of flooring repair. So like the plywood on the floor quite a bit amount of it was rotted. Alright, so today we are going to pull up the rest of the plywood and try and make the framing in the back all better, since now we've broken it all out. We also noticed that the frame of the trailer, that the perimeter is all made out of wood as well, and there's metal that's going in between. All of that was pretty rotted as well, so we're like, all right, I guess we're gonna be doing that as well. So here we are just pulling out section by section the plywood, trying to not destroy too much of the rest of the things. As we were going along, we're starting to like reveal how the actual trailer was put together. So like I was trying to pry up the plywood floor and it wasn't budging, and so I started cutting it out piece by piece. Then I found out that the walls and the bottom were actually being nailed into the plywood. So
and I was just tearing out staples and nails off the floor.
Here we are putting in new braces for the underside of the trailer, which the plywood sits on. And so most of that was all rotted, and it was surprising that there wasn't more damage, because like the whole back end of it was just kind of suspended. There was nothing really supporting it. So then we repurposed a couple pieces of plywood from the bed frame that actually came with the trailer to create the base layer.
Mm-hmm. And it was actually a little bit too short, and so we ended up cutting 2 very thin strips to go in the middle too.
There you go. There you go. What do you think? There goes Cormac. Careful.
And so as things started warming up, we decided to pull the trailer outside and be able to work on things outside, which was a lot more enjoyable. The garage is just barely wide and barely tall enough to fit the trailer, so it's always a bit of an event to get it in there or get it out.
During the winter, we did spend a couple days trying to get the lighting working more, I guess, consistently. And so we were kind of taking the lights apart and kind of trying to figure out how to ground them. And so we didn't really get anywhere with that. We put in a lot of time. We didn't figure that out yet. All right, today we're hoping to put the window in, but also we have some other things to follow up on. We need to finish putting in this last section of the floor, and then we want to make sure that the back tail lights are working. So we need to reground those today. So we're hopefully getting all that done. We'll see what happens. So after fiddling with the lights for a little while and ultimately deciding that we were gonna just probably go with ordering some LEDs and just replacing them all together, probably spent an hour and a half on that. we decided to move to cutting out the window. So the first thing we had to do was take off some of the vents and gear that was still on the side of the trailer where we wanted to put the window. And as with everything, it took a very long time because there's a lot of very sticky old sealant behind everything, and so just pulling things off.
Since it's an old trailer, all of the screws are all flatheads, and some people have taken them on and off a few times, and so some of them are worn, and it just makes things a bit more difficult.
That's a good sized window. Yeah. That's great. And so that window, when it's open, is a nice awning.
We brought in Cormac's dad to confirm where we were putting the window.
Yeah, we probably moved it around like 10 different times because it's, you only have one shot at cutting this thing.
Yeah, so he came over and just we figured out exactly where we were going to put it, so thank you, Dennis, for helping us with that. So the next thing we did was measure out where the window was going to go and put some tape down. On the actual tape, we more specifically drew in the actual line of where we were going to cut. So we had to measure all that out and make sure that was all squared. And then Cormac took the initial drill into the trailer.
Yeah, felt good.
It took a little while though. we had a bit of a disagreement. I think that this whole process is, you know, everything just takes so much longer than you're expecting and is so much more difficult. There's a lot of tension that occurs and happens sometimes. So you get to see a bit of a funny scuffle that we had.
Of course.
Yes, about the ladder and if there was enough room.
Squeezing through there every time to get around.
Oh my god. What a pain, isn't it?
Alright,
Life is
I'm moving the car.
No! No!
What's happening?
No!
Yeah.
Why are you being so rude? It's on camera! Oh my god! You just shot a blade at me. This thing just hit my leg.
So I guess I was just using the wrong brand of blade for the jigsaw. It was for a skill one, and this one I was using was a DeWalt.
How was it actually cutting the window?
It wasn't too bad. It was like, you know, once you start, you're like, all right, I'm in this. Now let's go.
A little tiring, but
Yeah, it took a little while, but it wasn't too difficult.
I'm holding on to it so it doesn't fall out.
You wanna
Should I pull it?
come outside?
Sure. You gonna hold it? Oh, that's cute. Alright. That way back down. I can't believe we did it. Take it out.
Woo!
Alright.
Oh,
Oh my god! That really opens it up and it looks so cool. Doesn't slime. That looks so cool.
I'm so happy to see this.
Look at the plywood's all good. Here it looks like it's dying.
Here it looks not so great. But most of it is all pretty good. This looks pretty crazy. I could like actually picture somebody ordering from this. You can like see inside so much.
It's really awesome.
Like you're gonna be able to like just walk straight up to it and see everything.
How do you feel?
It felt too easy.
After everything else
After
is
we've
like...
been like talking about this for so long.
Yeah.
To just like go ahead and cut it. I mean, I knew that cutting a thing is easy, but oh man, it's great. Let's do it.
Let's get the window.
Let's get it.
So after we cut out the window, we just put it in just to make sure the size was right. And it actually fit pretty well. Pretty perfect. A little loose, but it was all right. And that's where we finished for that day. We just put the trailer back right in the garage.
So next we are going to be replacing that section of the plywood that is rotted on the wall next to the window. and then we will be putting the window in for good and bracing that so that it is ready to go, and ultimately finish doing the exterior lights with LED ones.
So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want some recipes, I'll definitely be doing some more of those soon. If you haven't checked out my last two, definitely check those out. So we hope to see you soon and eat more plants.